You wasn't saying that when you was gallivanting across town with the other girl. You acting like a crackhead. Hello, little enzymes. Welcome back to Daisha's Digest. The topic for today will be opening up. We have 2 stories, but I think they're a little bit longer. All of the information will be in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into it. So the first story is my female 21 boyfriend, male 24, opened our relationship. Now that I have finally found someone, he wants to close it. Funny how that works. I come from a small town where everyone knows each other. I was raised in a very strict Catholic household. I had a pretty sheltered life growing up. No dating, no parties, none of that stuff. So when I moved to the city for college, it was a whole new world for me. I had total freedom. That's when I met my boyfriend. He's a little older and honestly, the most amazing person I had ever met. He taught me so much about life and love and made everything feel exciting. I was completely over the moon when we became a couple. We've been together for 3.5 years now. I had so many firsts with him. Naturally, I assumed we would get married. He was my one and only. Then about 8 months ago, he sat me down and told me he felt like our relationship was losing its spark. I was shocked because I thought we were doing really great. For a second, I thought he was about to break up with me, but instead he said we should open up the relationship and explore polyamory. Bruh. If your relationship is on the rocks, adding more people to it is not going to help. You just need to let it go or get some counseling or try to work it out between the two of you. But adding more things into the equation is definitely going to do the opposite. And that's not to say I'm against polyamory as a concept. I personally don't think I could do it. I know it works for some people, but that's if you're actually polyamorous. Like, there's a difference between actually being polyamorous and just basically wanting your cake and eating it too. Wanting your like main girl and then having the freedom to have somebody on the side without the guilt of cheating, which typically when people who are in monogamous relationships who have never, ever been polyamorous ever in their life, typically when they want to introduce another person, they already have somebody in mind, already probably talking to somebody or already cheated and are trying to make themselves feel better about it. It's always a red flag to me when that happens. So anyway, he said it's more normal now and that it could actually help bring us closer. I was hurt, like really hurt. I couldn't believe he'd even ask me that, but I loved him too much. He's my first love. I didn't want to lose him, so I said yes. He made some rules like no bringing other people into our beds, we live separately anyway, and to keep things away from places we'd usually go. But honestly, I didn't care about the rules. I couldn't even imagine being with someone else. I only wanted him. But that first month, things did not get better. I saw him less and less. He was always, quote, busy. I checked his social media and saw he started hanging out with some girl. She posted him all the time. I was burning with jealousy, but I didn't say anything. When I did see him, he was sweet like always, but it started to feel like he was just trying to make up for not being around. I felt like I was the one doing all the work, planning stuff, texting first, chasing after him, holding on so tight while he fell farther away. Then a few months ago, we were supposed to see a movie together, but he bailed on me last minute. I went anyway. While I was there, I ran into one of my friends and she was with her older brother. We ended up watching the film together. Afterward, we grabbed some drinks and I started noticing how attractive and funny he was. I caught him looking at me a certain way too, like maybe he felt something too. I didn't pursue anything though. This was all so new to me. Liking someone else, that felt so weird. I wasn't used to anyone but my boyfriend. I want to also say this is a cautionary tale for parents who want to raise their children in like very, very strict households. I was raised in a semi-strict household. I wasn't like incredibly sheltered, but I was a little bit sheltered, kind of like, but I feel like she was more susceptible to this situation because she didn't know any better. Like she said, this was like her first relationship. She's only 21. They had been together for 3.5 years. So they got together probably when she was like 18, 19. And I don't know. I just feel like not being so strict, yes, having rules and like boundaries and stuff, but maybe not being so strict would probably help your kids have more healthy relating abilities. Anyway, though, and that's not to say you should let your kids date like too young or whatever. I'm just saying if they have more examples of like how the real world works once they get out of the house, that might not be in the way that you think that the world should work, then you might be setting them up for success later in life, or anyway. So yeah, she said it felt weird. She wasn't used to anyone but her boyfriend. He eventually found me on Instagram and we started talking. I told him about the open relationship and being poly, and he was super chill about it. He said he was happy to spend time with me without worrying about cheating. We started hanging out more, and honestly, I didn't feel so alone anymore. I didn't feel like I had to beg someone for love. Even the little time I spent with my boyfriend started to feel enough because my heart didn't feel so empty anymore. One day after we'd become close friends, he just kissed me on the lips and it hit me. I had feelings for him. Sexual ones. We ended up hooking up not long after. It was amazing. I felt wanted, cherished. I couldn't get enough of him. It felt like he balanced me out in a way I didn't know I needed. I finally understood what being poly could really mean, loving more than one person in a way that felt real and full. I grew very attracted. We even joined the gym together and started working out. He's a busy guy, but always made time for me, always invited me into his world and his hobbies. I felt special and giddy. Then, this week, my boyfriend comes to me and says, I think we should close the relationship and focus on each other. That's rich. That's what you should have said before you even opened it. We should focus on each other. But nah. Now that she done got somebody, you want to close it up. No siree, Bobby. She said I was confused. I asked him why. Things are going really good for us. He said it's time to think about the future and building something serious. Then he brought up religion. You're Catholic. You should understand. If you want this to last, it has to just be the two of us. When I hesitated, he started guilt-tripping me like I was doing something wrong, like I wasn't thinking about us. I love him, I really do, but now I feel confused. I feel upset. I didn't ask for any of this. He opened the door and I just followed because I loved him. And now that I found a little peace, a little joy, he wants to shut it all down. It feels unfair. I don't know what to do. Here for advice and support. I feel so depressed about this issue. And then she says also throw away. Girl, break up with that man. He's obviously being manipulative in many ways. Opening up the relationship in the first place, basically giving himself a pass to cheat, but still have his long-term girlfriend who he knows will be his ride or die. Once he's done with that other situation, he can come back to you. And then trying to weaponize religion for his own personal gain. Oh, well, we got to close it now because, you're Catholic. You should understand. You wasn't saying that when you was gallivanting across town with the other girl. When did Catholicism come into play then? Instead of the Holy Trinity, it was the Holy Trinity. Yo, where did I be coming up with this stuff? One comment said the other girl dumped him. Check her socials. I'm sure he's disappeared off of them. You should close the relationship with the new guy. He sounds awesome. OP responded, looking back now, she hasn't been posting him this month. Another comment, he was already cheating on you with her. He asked for an open relationship so he wouldn't be the bad guy when he inevitably got caught. She's probably dumped him, and that's the reason for the sudden change. You finally being happy with the arrangement and having fun on your own is also likely another reason. He didn't want or expect you to actually date others. He just wanted and out to do it himself. He likely assumed that as a Catholic, you wouldn't be comfortable doing it yourself, so he'd be the only one having his cake and eating it too. Dump the idiot. That's facts. He messed around and found out though. Somebody said, dude just wanted to sleep with other women. He didn't want you to sleep with other men. And then someone responded, all of this. And he is gaslighting and guilt tripping her so that she will close the relationship because he got what he wanted and his other woman probably already dropped him after finding out about the OP. He is just trying to have his cake and eat it too. He more than likely already slept with that other woman before even asking to open the relationship. That is what cheaters do. From what I have seen, people who are truly poly do not act like this. They are open and honest with potential partners before they start dating, not years into it. He just wanted to be able to cheat and keep you on the back burner. That's all. I would dump his ass so fast he would get whiplash. Okay. Update 5 days later. Thank you to everyone who offered advice, clarity, and support. I wanted to share where things stand now after having some difficult conversations. I spoke to my boyfriend and told him I don't want to close the open relationship. She's standing on business. Yo, that is funny to me. She's standing on business. She said, I've grown to really enjoy dating the other guy, and it's not something I agreed to just to experiment. I told him it should be a joint decision. You can't just open and close a relationship as you please, especially when someone else's feelings are involved. I also told him I was incredibly disappointed. He brought up my faith, knowing how much trauma and guilt I've carried from my religious upbringing and how it felt manipulative and unfair. He didn't respond to my comments about religion, but instead said, if you want a future with me, this needs to end or we're done. Ha! I told him, then it's done. Period. Bro, this is the best example of mess around to find out. Like, oh my goodness, this is hilarious to me. She said he got heated and said I was throwing away nearly 4 years of our relationship for a guy I've only been seeing for a few months and tried to make me feel guilty. But I reminded him that he was the one who lost the quote spark, who wanted to sleep with other women, and who opened the relationship in the first place, not me. I just agreed because I loved him and hoped he would realize I'm the only one for him. I didn't ask for this. After some time, he calmed down. We had a long, emotional conversation. He cried. He apologized. He told me he should have ended things instead of trying to fix our relationship with polyamory. He admitted he still loves me and that seeing me happy with someone else made him feel jealous, even though he knew he had no right to be. He said he probably deserves the pain and he respects my decision to end it. We hugged and agreed that even though our relationship is over, the first 2 years were beautiful. We'll always have a place in each other's hearts, even though the relationship has run its course. Later, I met up with the other guy I've been seeing. I told him everything. I ended things with my boyfriend because I didn't want to let him go. I told him I'm not rushing into anything and that I don't expect him to give me all his time or energy right away, but I'd love to date and see where things go. That's when he opened up and told me that watching me stay with my boyfriend while we were seeing each other was hard. He said it hurt him, but he kept quiet because he liked me so much and he knew what he was getting into. He never intended to be in a polyamorous relationship, but only agreed to it because he really wanted to be with me and didn't want to lose the chance. He secretly hoped we'd break up because, in his words, quote, you deserve someone who wants you completely, end quote. I know that's right. He said he likes me a lot, sees a future with me, and wants also to just date each other for now. We're not rushing into exclusivity, but we both agreed not to see other people and see how this naturally unfolds. That is exclusivity. If you're not seeing nobody else, that's the definition of exclusivity. But anyway, I mean, I love that for them. Edit to add, we already know we like each other and don't want to see anyone else. At the same time, I don't want to be in an exclusive relationship. I just wanted to take my time since I left my first long-term relationship. I hope that makes sense. So even though I'm mourning the loss of my first relationship that meant the world to me for a long time, I feel hopeful. I feel like I'm stepping into something new, something healthy, something that only involves just two people. Thank you all again for helping me find clarity in a really confusing time. Somebody said heart low-key dropped thinking the new guy was going to break it off with you too. Damn, that would have sucked. OP responded, girl, I was so scared. Someone else said, girl, me too. I probably would have been sick for days on end if it was back-to-back breakups. OP responded, nah, so many people DM'd me telling me he likes the dynamic of you having a boyfriend so he doesn't have to be serious, or how he's going to leave me once I break up with my boyfriend. Honestly, it's been stressing me out, but I know him and this man stayed loyal and made so much time for me. Surely he wouldn't dump me, right? I took a leap of faith. I'm so happy it worked out. Another person, love this for you. So glad to hear a nice update here. I have to ask though, in what way is agreeing to not see other people not being exclusive? Regardless, I don't see it as rushing. You've already been seeing this dude. OP responded, it's exclusive as in only getting to know each other and no one else, but we are not boyfriend and girlfriend yet until I feel ready. I mean, I guess, but that's exclusive. Like, if you don't have the option to get to know other people if you want, that's exclusive. That's exclusively dating at the least. I mean, you don't have the official boyfriend girlfriend title, but like, you know, I guess, girl. I mean, she said, I'm done with having multiple people, so I just want just me and you. That, hey, I feel you, sis. Let's go to the next story. Am I the a-hole for demanding to go through my brother-in-law and his girlfriend's bags if they are staying with us? I have a pretty severe dairy allergy. I break out in hives, struggle to breathe, and have to carry 2 EpiPens with me everywhere. If I get any dairy in my system, I'll end up in the ER. Dang! Oh. My in-laws know this and have been extremely accommodating since my fiance and I started dating 5 years ago. When we moved in together 2 years ago, we set strict rules for our home because of my allergy. The big one is that no one is allowed to bring anything that contains dairy into our house ever, no matter what. On to the current story. My brother-in-law started dating his girlfriend a year and a half ago. They came to visit us together for the first time a year ago. My fiance made sure my brother-in-law explained my allergy to his girlfriend and our no dairy rule. 2 days into their stay, she bought dairy products and cooked lunch for herself when we weren't home. I ended up in the ER because of cross-contamination. She apologized and explained she hadn't understood how serious my allergy was. We managed to put the situation behind us since both my fiance and I currently have and want to keep a good relationship with my brother-in-law. The two of them came for a second visit 9 months ago. We had a video call with brother-in-law and his girlfriend before the trip to make sure she understood the severity of my allergy and how serious we are about the no dairy rule. During their second trip, I was taking out the trash and found candy bar wrappers and an empty milkshake container in the guest room trash, the room she was staying in. Bro, how hard is it to stay away from cow milk? Is it really that serious? You're smuggling in milkshakes and candy bars while you're staying at somebody's house. Can you not just eat it while you're out? Brush your teeth, rinse your mouth out, and come back? You acting like a dairy fiend right now. You acting like a crackhead. Hiding candy wrappers in the trash. It's really not that serious. OP says, even after she saw how serious my allergy is and how I ended up in the ER, she still brought dairy into our house. I confronted her when they got back. She and brother-in-law had a huge fight. Brother-in-law went through her stuff and threw out everything she had with dairy. We kicked out his girlfriend. brother-in-law stayed for the rest of the planned trip. Hey, shout out to brother-in-law for standing on business, though. That's what's up. She said brother-in-law and his girlfriend worked out their relationship after the trip and are still together. Since their second trip, brother-in-law has come alone since I don't trust his girlfriend in our house. Well, brother-in-law is planning a new trip to visit us, and his girlfriend wants to come too. At first, we just said no, we don't trust her, but since we know this is important to brother-in-law, we came up with what we believe is a good compromise. She can come and stay at our place, but we will be looking through her bags every time she comes back to our place, and if she doesn't accept that, she can stay at a hotel or stay home. Now, I am being called an a-hole for treating her like a criminal, and that checking her bag is an invasion of privacy. So, am I the a-hole for demanding to go through her bag if she is staying at my house? No, not the a-hole. At this point, it's attempted, like twice you've already brought some dairy into my home. Once you've already had me land in the ER. And now you're mad because I want to check your bags? Stay somewhere else. I'm sure there's a Motel 6 down the street. Airbnb, Verbo, bed and breakfast. There's plenty of options. Rent a couch, caravan. Like, you don't have to stay there. So if you don't want your bags checked, don't stay there. It's actually very simple. Somebody says she broke your trust twice and she's calling you an a-hole. She's the a-hole. Another person, exactly. She's the one who nearly offed OP twice, and now she's acting like she's the one being wronged. She should be grateful OP's even giving her another chance. Another comment, exactly. I honestly wouldn't let her back into my house. Very kind of OP. Edit, yes, I could use other words than kind, but I think overall OP gets the simple statement. Another comment, dude, why are you letting her back in? Are you trying to die? Of course you're not the a-hole. Someone else, seriously, do hotels not exist where OP is? I would never let that woman into my home again. And then the last comment, I wouldn't either. I get why OP feels the way she does, but if it's to the point where she feels she has to frisk a girlfriend every time she walks into the front door just to feel safe in her own home, then she needs to stop allowing girlfriend over altogether. Low key, like just say no at the end of the day. Update 1 day later. I didn't plan on writing an update, especially not so soon, but a lot has happened in just 1 day. But first, I want to clear up some misconceptions around their second visit to our home. I did not get sick from brother-in-law's girlfriend having candy bars and a milkshake cup in the trash or some candy bars in her bag. That wasn't the problem. The issue was that while knowing our no dairy house rule, she had not only seen but also been responsible for me going into anaphylactic shock and had gotten an in-depth explanation of my allergy and why it is so important to keep our home dairy-free. She still brought my known allergen into my house, my safe space. That is why we fought with her and kicked her out of our house. On to the update. After the first 500 or so comments telling me I'm an idiot for even considering letting this woman, who is a danger to my health, back into my house, I realized I was listening way too much to the part of me who was just wanting to keep the peace and was downplaying the seriousness of the past incidents in my mind. I kept thinking the first time she might not have known how serious my allergy was and it was an accident, and since I didn't get sick the second time she brought dairy into my home, I was exaggerating how bad it was. I know it sounds insane, but after dealing with people who don't take allergies seriously for years, I've gotten used to apologizing and even downplaying my allergy to others. I sat down with my fiance and discussed the whole situation. He explained how he also doesn't want brother-in-law's girlfriend back in our home, but since I was willing to give her another chance, and it was my health affected by her previous actions, he felt I should make the final decision. He ended up texting brother-in-law to tell him our original no answer stand, that he is welcome to stay with us, but she is not allowed in our house, especially since she hasn't even apologized for breaking our rule again after she sent me to the ER the first time they visited, and I'm his family and my health and well-being are more important to him than brother-in-law visiting. I wasn't here for this part, but this is what my fiance told me happened. After he sent that message, brother-in-law called him and they talked. It turns out brother-in-law's girlfriend had told him that she reached out after their second trip, that we talked, and I forgave her, but wasn't ready to have her back in my house yet. She has asked him to come with every time he has visited us. Brother-in-law always told her no, and that she would only be allowed to come when I told him I was ready to have her back in my house. He only asked if she could come since it had been 9 months, and as far as he knew, I had forgiven her. According to my fiance, brother-in-law was extremely apologetic. I haven't had time to talk directly with him yet, but we have planned a video chat to get everything worked out tomorrow. The reason why brother-in-law didn't ask me directly about the situation and believed his girlfriend is because he is aware how traumatic an allergic reaction is to me, and that I hate to talk about it after, since I cannot stand to relive the situation. If anyone is interested, I can post a second update after I talk to my brother-in-law tomorrow and hopefully have a final conclusion to this whole thing. What's going on with the girlfriend? Why would you lie? Like, why is it so important for you to stay at that house to the point where you would lie and say that OP has forgiven you versus, here's a thought, actually talking to OP and asking for forgiveness, trying to swindle your way back into the house? It's giving she's one of those people who thinks that OP is being dramatic about the allergy and is trying to like test that theory. Like, I don't know, there's some people who, when they hear that other people have allergies, they just don't take it seriously for some reason. They just think people are being dramatic. They think they can try to orchestrate situations where they put that specific allergy into food to see what happens. Like, let me see if they really allergic. The girl ended up in the hospital, in the ER. What is wrong? I mean, and that's just my speculation, but like, I just can't think of any other reason why she would be so adamant to want to stay in this person's house, but then also be upset that they want to check her bags. It's not adding up. It's giving op. Like I said, it's giving attempted murder. Third time's a charm, I guess, huh? Somebody said, I swear, why do people always lie about stuff like this? Do they really think it's not going to come out? Another comment, or they think they're so clever and won't get away with it. I would love to hear what brother-in-law says. Why he stays with his girlfriend is beyond me. So update 2, 1 day later. So I have talked to my brother-in-law. We had a long and emotional conversation. I won't post it all here since some of the stuff we discussed is personal, but I still wanted to update you guys. To start, brother-in-law kept apologizing and said he should have checked with us, not just believed his girlfriend, or now ex-girlfriend. He went on to explain how the reason he wanted to talk with me today instead of yesterday after the call with my fiance was because he felt like he had already failed us for believing his girlfriend. We do not agree with this at all and do not blame him. So he wanted to show he is truly remorseful of everything that has happened, not just with words, but show it through actions. After the call with my fiance, he confronted his ex. Ex first tried to convince him that I was lying and trying to ruin their relationship. That didn't work, so she tried to manipulate him with tears. Brother-in-law explained it as, now that he has fully seen all of her crazy behavior, he immediately saw how manipulative she is. A lot more happened, but I won't go into details since it isn't my story, but my brother-in-law's. The end result is that he broke up with her. He also told us more that we didn't know, including how they actually broke up after the second time they visited us. He didn't want to be with someone who clearly didn't care about the people in his life by putting someone in danger. He explained they were broken up for about 2 months and only got back together after she sent him a message saying she had reached out to me and we had worked things out because she felt awful, but didn't expect anything from him. Now it is clear that it was just manipulation to get back together with him. More we didn't know is also that brother-in-law hasn't been happy where he currently lives for the last year or so, and one of the reasons he often comes to visit us is because he has been considering moving to our area. So I have a feeling she has been doing all of the crazy stuff in hopes we would blame brother-in-law, and if we were mad or low contact with him, he wouldn't move. More manipulation, I won't put it past her. Brother-in-law also sent out a message to their extended family explaining the whole situation in case she reaches out to the family, and this way I won't have to relive the trauma surrounding an allergic reaction to explain what's been going on. I also told brother-in-law and my fiance about what it's like for me to have a serious allergic reaction for the first time, what it feels like, and the absolute horror I go through. It's basically like you're about to die. I can imagine. I mean, because you are, right? Like people die from allergic reactions all the time. Like it's not something to play with. She said that was definitely the hardest part of the conversation for me. Neither my fiance or I blame brother-in-law. The way I see it, he is a good guy who sees the best in people and who has been manipulated by his ex. He is still more than welcome to stay with us, and with everything he told us about how he has been feeling lately, we are excited to have him stay with us and hopefully be able to help him out with everything going on. A lot more was said and talked about, but I think these are the important parts for the update. If I have forgotten anything, I will add an edit here. Also, thank you to everyone who commented and helped me with the situation. Hopefully this is the last part and we can go back to focusing on our wedding. Okay, I'm glad he got rid of her because just something was not right with her. The manipulation, the lying, the bringing the dairy in the first place. But that makes sense if she was trying to manipulate the situation to where they would also be mad at the brother-in-law. But it obviously backfired because that's not what happened. But wow. Okay, so for the palate cleanser today, I'm actually going to be reading comments under a Threads post. I saw this earlier today and I've been sharing it with everybody that I know because it's just so sweet and like it restores my belief in love. Okay. I recently gave up on dating, especially here in LA, because it's just a mess. It's time consuming, it's draining. These men out here are unhinged from what I've seen. They'll be very cute and very crazy, or very cute and very broke. Very cute and low effort. Like it's just, I'm done. But I saw this thread today and I said, you know what? Real lovers still exist. Real lovers still exist. I'm not going to find one. Hopefully he find me somehow. But when I was reading all of the responses to this thread, I was like, this is it right here. This is it right here. So anyways, basically the original thread says, ladies, what did your man do that showed you he was in it for the long term? What are some telltale signs that your man wanted you to be his forever and not just for now? Somebody said, I was carrying a lot of trauma. One day I laid on my living room floor and cried. He laid down on that floor with me and prayed over me. That's my husband now. Another person, he asked me, do you want to be a doctor right now or a wife? I said, doctor, and he said, we will do that, and then proceeded to write my first tuition check payment. 2 years into medical school, he proposed. A partner that believes in your dreams is a forever type of love. Married for 9 years now. Someone else, he did a study abroad and I didn't hear from him for months. I thought he was over me. He came back with a 40-page letter. The post office where he was on strike, so he just kept adding to the letter. Another one, my mother just had a serious surgery. I couldn't sleep at the hospital from watching over her. I was exhausted and scared to sleep. I told my man at the time how I was feeling just because. His car was out of commission. He got a ride out to the hospital so I can rest, and he watched over my mom. When I woke up the next morning, he was feeding my mom in her hospital bed. I went back to sleep, woke up again. He was helping my mother walk. I will never forget that. Rest in peace to him. Wow. That's enough to make you get emotional. Not gonna lie. Another person said, I lost my job and couldn't afford my rent. He packed up my apartment, moved me into his, and asked me for nothing in return. We had only been dating for 2 months. Fast forward, we celebrated 9 years of marriage last week. Congratulations. Another person, he started going to therapy to work on his communication and expressing himself. That's so important. I actually know this girl, Missy Lynn. She said 2 things I remember so vividly. 1, he wasn't my man yet, but I was in Louisiana visiting family, and my doctor called to tell me I needed a blood transfusion due to low hemoglobin. I'm casually telling him about it. About 8 hours later, he showed up to my mom's house after working all day and drove from Texas to be with me. 2, he moved me from Cali to Texas, just him and my dad, and let me fly to Texas while he rode in a U-Haul with my pops. Engaged to be married now. Another, he drove an hour to kill a spider in my apartment, kissed me, and then went right back to work. In my defense, it was the size of a baseball. Someone else says, he gave me part ownership in his company and retired me from working, period. Someone said, so what I'm hearing is they made sure y'all knew they cared about your emotional, mental, and physical well-being, period. That's really what it boils down to. Because like I said, men don't be liking women for real, like these days. They really don't. And I could talk about women. That could be a whole nother subject. Right now, we're talking about the men. They don't like women for real. They see like these platitudes online. Is platitudes the right word? Platitude, a remark or statement, especially one with a moral content that has been used too often to be interesting or thoughtful. Ooh, that is a perfect word. They see these platitudes online about how women are and how you should date and how not to get taken advantage of and this and this and that. If you really would just focus on being a good person, being emotionally intelligent, caring for other people, being successful in your own right with whatever it is that you're trying to do, and then just date from that point of view, I think you would be okay. I think you would be able to tell if someone is trying to take advantage of you or not. And if you think that they are, just don't deal with him. But now it's like, oh, well, they come to the situation already guarded. And I get it, because that's why I stopped dating, because it just be too much sometimes. But I just wish people would get offline when it comes to certain topics and think for themselves and experience things for themselves versus experiencing things through the lens of others and applying that to their situation too. I don't know. Does it make sense? I don't know. Anyway, let me read a few more. This girl said his mother stepped out of line with me and he had a conversation with her immediately. We never had an issue again. Anytime I feel uncomfortably somewhere, he removes me or the problem right away. We start premarital counseling today, set up solely by him. Someone else, right after we met, I happened to get a job working second shift. Without me asking, he promised me and my mom that he would pick me up from work at 11 p.m. every day so I wouldn't have to take 2 buses home, and he did. We weren't even officially dating yet. We've been married for almost 16 years. Damn, somebody said nothing. Never had one definitively make it clear they wanted forever by their actions, and it's cool. I learned not to expect anything from men. I mean, I get it. Somebody said by their actions is the key, not going off words, but the follow through of said words. All these ladies' stories are helping me keep hope alive. And to know I haven't been wrong in my intolerance of accepting the bare minimum, and barely that sometimes. They make a good point, because it's about the actions. I hate to the core of my being when a man tells me, oh, I was gonna such and such and such. Oh, I tried to such and such and such. Don't tell me that. I had to tell somebody that the other day. Oh, I was thinking about such and such and such. I said, don't tell me, stop telling me that. It means nothing to me. Did you do it? No, you didn't. So stop telling me. Stop telling me about what you thought or what you had planned or what you wanted or what you hoped to get done. If it's not done, it literally means nothing to me. Anyway, that's all the replies I can see, but I'll put the link in the description so you can go and read more replies. I'm sure people will add more as the days come. There's literally 1.7 thousand comments under this thread. So if you have Threads is the Twitter equivalent for Instagram, basically. Anyway, my camera's about to die. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.